Welcome back to Red River Living. This afternoon we are picking some okra, and Keely is going to go through the processing of that okra.
By putting it in the freezer.
By putting it in the freezer.
Yeah, I'm going to show you all that process from picking it and then getting it to that freezer.
For y'all that are joining us for the first time, I have been in the okra patch, it seems like every day. And this okra, for the ones who haven't heard this okra came from Mississippi. And my granddaddy had been planting this. His oldest son, my Uncle Dickie, told me that granddaddy had been saving this seed, he thought, for probably as long as 65 years. And it has come to Texas and made it big in Texas. I don't know what to say. When I was planting it, my wife was like, that's just way too much okra. And I thought, well, I want to be able to pick some okra. Well, we have picked some okra here in Texas this year. I have given okra away to people, and we have froze it, and it's just really done good for us this year. My plan is to save some okra. I've got some people interested in it, and I'm going to try to share it with some other people, some friends of mine here in Texas. The trick on this okra, if you can just reach down with your hand and turn it up and it pops off, it's still edible to eat. If it's have to tear it or cut it, that okra's done got too tough, and either throw it on the ground or save it for seed later on.
So we are back in the kitchen. We have picked our okra out in the garden and brought it inside. The first step we're going to do is make sure that it is all clean. So we're going to get it to the sink, give it a good rinse, and then we'll chop it up. So I have just filled my sink with some water, and I'm just going to give these a good rinse. Cleaned up by cutting the ends off of them, and then I'll go back and dice them up. cutting the ends off the okra. So the next step is just to keep cutting on it. I'm just going to cut it in bite-sized pieces. So I thought I would show y'all two different methods of putting away okra. One is with an egg wash method, and the other one is very simple. You're just going to coat it with cornmeal and then put it in the freezer. So the egg wash is a little bit longer process because you're going to have to coat it with the egg, then coat it with your cornmeal, and then it will go on a cookie sheet in the freezer overnight, and then you'll take it out and put it in your bag. That way you don't have a large chunks. So we have finished cutting up all the okra, and now we are I'm going to show you the first method. So the first method is very easy. All you're going to do is take your cornmeal, you're going to get your bag. I'm not sure about how much I need in here, so I'm just gonna add maybe a half a cup, maybe a little more. And then you're just going to add your okra, shake it up, and throw it in the freezer. It's very simple. You can also add, if you like a certain seasoning, you can add it in there. That's about as much as I'm going to put in there. I'm going to now zip it up and give it a good shake. You can see it all looks pretty coated. When I give it a good shake on the other side, there's some extra. So I think it looks pretty good. Alright, so there is one way to put away your okra in the freezer. It's not a real breaded okra when you cook it up, but it is still good. And it's just quick and easy, and this I'll just store in the freezer, and I will pull out the serving size that we want when we go get ready to cook it. Alright, so for our second batch of okra, this is our egg wash. It's still a cornmeal okra, fried okra. We're going to use eggs, so I'm just going to go ahead and, I'm not sure how many I need, I'm just going to crack a bunch. Get these eggs beat up, and then I'm going to toss our okra in it, and then I'll be able to see if I need to crack a few more. Alright, we're just going to, this is our bowl of okra right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and pour our eggs over it, and then give it a good stir. So we have coated the okra really good with the egg wash. So now we're going to work on our bread mix. So I'm just going to use the cornmeal, same that I just used previously. And we're going to go ahead and mix it with some pepper. Next up, I'm just going to use some seasoned salt, and I'm not really measuring. I would say Maybe I used a teaspoon of pepper. And then I'm gonna add some of this just to give it a little bit of a flavor. All right. Give that a good mix. All right, now that we have our seasonings inside our cornmeal, we're just going to adjust it all over this. I'm gonna go ahead and leave it in the bowl since we have to transfer it onto a cookie sheet to lie flat so we can freeze it that way. All right. So I ended up adding a little bit more of that mixture, mixed up a little bit more of that cornbread and added it to it. I underestimated just how much I needed. So you just want to basically eye it till it looks pretty breaded. And then we're just going to now lay it out on a cookie sheet. You'll want to be sure and line your cookie sheet with some parchment paper. And then you're just going to come through and add your okra. By doing this, you won't end up with chunky okra. It'll be separated out when you freeze it so you can get out your serving that you want. You can freeze it in like a big bag. All right, so this is ready for the freezer. You're gonna slide this in the freezer, let it sit overnight, and then we'll take it out and I'll show you that process in the morning. So it is the next morning. We let these sit overnight in the freezer. As you can see, they're all frozen in individual pieces. This is exactly what we wanted. There might be a couple clumps, but they'll break right apart. So I'm gonna go through here. I'm gonna put them in a gallon-sized freezer bag. I just feel like this is the easiest for our family to freeze away, and then I'll just get out the portion that we want for that dinner. So let's go ahead and put these up. If you find a clump, it just easily breaks apart, so you can just break that apart. Getting about 2 bags. As you can see, they're not quite full, but I do like to be able to lay them flat in the freezer for storage. So about 2 bags of the breaded egg wash and 1 bag of just the cornmeal wash on them. So this is 2 different methods. One's very simple, one's a little bit more complicated, a little bit more time consuming, but they're both gonna turn out wonderful. So if you like fried okra, please like and subscribe this video, and we'll see y'all next time.